Softube has just announced the release of the new Console One MK3, which comes with a lot of cool updates. However, I was kind of shocked when I saw the launch price of $899 in the US or $995 in Europe, which is more than double the price of the previous Console One. So the question is it worth paying more than double for the new updates? Let's talk about it. I'm making this video because I am a frustrated user of the Console One MK2. And why frustrated? Well, here's the device. And as you can see, it's not connected. After using it for a long time, I realized it wasn't what I was looking for several reasons that I'll mention throughout this video. First and foremost, I want to comment on Softube's teaser to say goodbye to the mouse. I understand the marketing idea behind it, but we all know that this is simply not true. Assuming we use all the features of the console, which is rarely the case, we'll still have to use the mouse for many other functions in our DAW. But even looking at it from the perspective of just mixing, there are many other plugins for modulation, reverbs and delays, for example, that are not supported by the Console One. Furthermore, Console One is limited to using only Softube's and UAD2 plugins. So for any other plugin we want to use outside of these, we'll have to control them with the mouse. And to be completely honest, this limitation was the main reason why I stopped using this device. I understand that Softube offers different channel emulations and Universal Audio also has many options, but I still use different plugins that are not supported. So right out of the bat, that's a drawback. I get it, Softube wants to offer a pleasant experience right out of the box, but give us the option to use the EQ or compressor we want and to map the controls the way we find it most convenient. Let those mappings be saved so that every time we load the same plugin, it always has the same mapping. Softube, if you're listening, in my opinion, this is the main reason why Console One isn't in every studio and home studio worldwide. Look at what Native Instruments did with Machine, the complete control keyboards and the development of the NKS format. Open Console One to other developers so they can adapt their plugins to your controller, and you'll see thousands of new users flocking in. This has been my biggest complaint about this platform, and with this new update, it seems like we are unfortunately still in the same situation. There's no support for third-party plugins. That's a real shame. I'm aware that when quitting the Console One software, it enters in a standard mode that can be used as a very simple MIDI controller, but it can't be customized. At the very least, give us a proper generic controller mode and provide software to edit the controller's functionality. Something like Machine's controller editor. That would be incredible. Another thing that bothers me is that Universal Audio's native plugins, or Spark, are still unsupported in Console One. For now, you can only use UAD2 plugins, which is very limiting for UAD users. I understand that Softube wants to sell its own plugins, but again, let's take Native Instruments as an example. They also want to sell their plugins and sound libraries, but they realized that opening the platform will bring in many more controller sales, which also results in more sales of their own libraries. Let's put it this way. If Softube adds support for third-party plugins, I'll be the first in line to buy the new Console One. And I'll be the first one to recommend it to other users because truthfully, it's a great controller and has the potential of becoming the most used mixed controller in the world, especially with this renewed version, because there are certainly other issues with the previous Console One that are now solved with this update. For example, the LEDs on the previous version were kind of hard to see, and it looks like the LEDs are now much brighter. We'll have to see that in person, but based on the launch video, it seems to be the case. Another big thing is that now you can load more than one plugin per section. In other words, we can have 2 compressors, 2 EQs, and 2 shapers. And from what I see in this screenshot of the software, you can change the order of each plugin independently from the section the plugins are in, which is crucial. We also now have 2 screens, which, well, is not the thing that I'm most excited about, to be honest. But it's not bad to have them there for visual feedback on what we're doing on the controller. We also have a new preamp section in addition to the drive section from the previous version. So we have 2 saturation stations, which I think is excellent. Another new feature I really like is the ability to control 6 cents instead of the 3 we had in the previous version. I think to have 8 here would have been better, but hey, 6 are definitely better than 3. One thing they didn't mention in the video is that we now have metering. If we have a look above the channel selections button here, we find 2 extra LEDs that light up when there's audio signal passing through the channel. This seems to be quite useful for navigating and for orientation in large mixing sessions. Although, to be honest, I never used these buttons above to select channels. In my opinion, it's much faster to do it with a mouse, mainly because the channel names aren't visible. So I have to look at the screen to see which channel number I want to edit and then find it on the controller. It would be ideal if we could see all channel names here somehow. Let's see when they announce the Console One Fader Mark II. I wonder if it's going to have the channel names displayed on the controller. Looking at the preview photo on their website, we can see something that appears to be a screen above the faders. Probably for displaying channel names and maybe other types of feedback, such as a gain reduction meter. That would be very cool. And another really cool thing would be if you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss on more videos like this. See you on the next one.